to whine.
Baggedmilk. Baggedmilk. Baggedmilk.
Oh, I swear.
Oh, baggedmilk.
And I'm hungry like
Baggedmilk, how you doing?
Doing very well. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Frustrating game last night.
Man, the Oilers have now given up the first goal in the game 6 straight times.
Yeah.
That's obviously a problem.
Hungry like baggedmilk.
But to spot a team 4 goals, it's just, you can't win that way. And I mean, last night was just a mess all over the place. From
Yeah.
the first shot goal that Koskinen should have had to just weird officiating to past opportunities to shoot to weird giveaways. It was a mess last night. And it was a little bit disappointing because I thought, you know what, going into Winnipeg, everybody knows what happened in the playoffs. I thought there was going to be like a chip on their shoulder, that they'd come out firing, that they'd come out guns blazing, but that's just not what happened.
I think that bus ride from across the border, that kills them every time into Manitoba.
It's a real unfair advantage for the Jets to have people busing or carriaging into the city because there's no airport. So it's really a disaster. The NHL has to figure that out.
One thing with the Oilers, I was thinking last night, is like, so they got 4 losses now. All 4 losses, they've just been garbage.
Not great teams.
Like they haven't really had any like hard. That was a good hard fought game, and we lost. It's like, oh, Koskinen sucked tonight, or like,
yeah.
And I think that's what the frustrating part about it is. You see them play a game like they did against the Bruins, and you're like, man, that was a good game. And then they come back and beat the Blues, and you're like, wow, that was good. And then they don't show up when you think that they're going to. So last night's game was incredibly frustrating because I know, we have a Jets website in our network as well, and they were having a lot of fun piling on us as they probably should. And it was a frustrating one because the Oilers could beat the Jets. We saw it in the third period, but like I said before, you can't win a game when you only play 20 out of 60 minutes. So
I think what happened last night is the Oilers made the Jets look like a better team than they actually are. It is the sense that I got. Not that the Jets are a bad team. It just, the Oilers kind of handed it to them a bit. They were a little scattered.
The Jets are a good team. They are a fine team, but the Oilers just did not play well.
Yep.
It's like through 40 minutes, they were not the team that beat St. Louis or Boston or started off with 9-1 record. That just wasn't them last night. The effort wasn't there. The execution wasn't there. Again, until the third period when too little too late. A 4-goal gap is just ridiculous at the NHL level, especially with Connor McDavid in that. He played really well for the Jets last night.
Yeah.
So that's a bad recipe.
The thing that I find interesting about, and you alluded to it, the trash talking, is that some fans of other teams have started to call McDavid a whiner, which I find odd. Like I've been going back and forth on social media with a Jets fan. He's like, oh, I hate Edmonton. I'm like, fine, yeah. And I hate that McDavid. He's such a whiner. And I'm like, is he though? Like anytime I see him, like last night, he caught into it behind. He threw a high elbow, right? I'm okay with that, by the way. Which I'm fine with. I'm okay with that. Other players do that. It's not like he threw a slew foot, right? Which, by the way, we need to rename that soon. The slew foot. But the thing is, the Subban, I honestly think he isn't much of a whiner, but you got to understand, players are draped all over him. He's not getting the calls that he should be getting. And that's not a homer thing. That's like anybody who watches hockey knows that players are getting away with defending McDavid. And I don't know. I don't see Crosby when he got in the league. He whined a lot, like he was always beaking. I don't get that from McDavid.
Connor doesn't whine a lot. And people that say he whines a lot, it's just clear they don't watch the Oilers very often, if at all. Because you're right, Locke. He generally doesn't say anything ever when something like that happens. But when he does stick up for himself a little bit, they say he's whining, which is ridiculous. Like I said, you're clearly not watching the game. And last night, the same where he threw an elbow up at Neil Pionk, which is what the donkey says, of course. I like it. I like him creating some space for himself and defending himself a little bit, because if the refs aren't going to look out for him, well, he might as well look out for himself.
Absolutely.
And on this last road trip, there were countless calls against him that did not get called, from trips and holds and slashes, and it's okay, well, he's playing through that every single night. You expect him not to say anything ever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So we obviously can expect a bounce back performance from this team, especially tomorrow night when the Jets are in town.
I hope so. I mean, I'm really hoping tomorrow night when they get home that they give the effort that we were hoping they would give last night. I love a good home-and-home series, so I'm hoping that a little bit of that animosity and hatred that was brewing up last night and carried over from the playoffs comes right back in tomorrow night at Rogers Place, because that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Who are we watching to be the SHIT disturbers tomorrow?
Well, Cassian's back in the lineup. So
yeah, all right.
I think that he's just an easy bet. You know, I think that if Cass is at his best tomorrow, and if he can mix things up that get the Jets off their game, that'd be ideal. Maybe if he can. But I think the big thing is the Oilers need to get more traffic in front of Connor Hellebuck. He saw way too many shots last night. They had way too many shots from outside and from the perimeter, and that's not going to work against him.
There was a couple of saves, though, too, Baggedmilk. Like, how did he get that?
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
he's a
really
goalie.
Good goalie, so you got to make his life way more difficult than they did last night. And if you got guys like Cassian and maybe Fogle that can mix it up a little bit, then that'd be ideal, too. I like it. I like when things get a little bit spicy, and these two teams don't seem to like each other very much, so that's a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the matchup tomorrow. All right, my friend, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, boys.
Baggedmilk, Oilers Nation.